Authors Tell All, a podcast by Shy Soul. She's bringing you author interviews, book discussions, and more. Stay tuned.
Dice is on the beat.
Authors Tell All, a podcast by Shy Soul. She's bringing you author interviews, book discussions, and more. Stay tuned.
Dice is on the beat.
Authors Tell All, a podcast by Shy Soul. She's bringing you author interviews, book discussions, and more. Stay tuned.
Digits on the beat.
Hello everyone. Welcome to 2019 and the first episode of this month. I have Cassandra Dyer here. She'll be talking about her new series. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing well. So let's just get into this. First of all, I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
That's a first. Now, your book is titled
Success of the Wrong Queen.
Yes, I love that title. It's different. Second of all, the cover is very different too, especially for an urban book. What made you want your cover that way?
It's got like the speech bubbles on top of their head, and I wanted it to show like what their real intentions are. So you know how you can see how someone looks, but you can't really see what they're thinking inside.
Yes.
So with the cover, it portrays that.
Yes, I love that.
Thanks.
Now, some questions that I have for you tonight are: what made you start writing?
I've just loved it. Like since I was a little girl, I used to just write stories, and then I used to draw as well. So those were two hobbies that I really liked. And then so I started writing when I was a kid, and then I published my first book 2017, which is Success of the Wrong Queen. And that was because my dad basically said, "You're good at this, so why don't you try and see if it'll work?" So he inspired me to publish it, really.
Ooh, I like the inspiration. That's some very, very good inspiration. Now, with this story, with this story, with you saying that, you wanted to visualize what they're thinking, because we can't see what a person is thinking, so why not visualize it? I really like it because you have the male, what is the male thinking about? You get what I'm saying? So I really like how you had that incorporated into your cover. That's very different. That actually says something.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem. Now, this is the first book. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so tell me what this first book is about.
So it's about it starts off with showing the relationship of one trainer I used to have. The high school sweethearts, I guess like really close friends, I should say. And then they lose contact, go about their business, basically grow up separately, live separate lives. Then Trey, he accomplishes everything that he needs to in life, but he's still thinking about Aisha. So he's found someone else, the beautiful China. But for some reason he's just always thinking about Aisha, so he excited for her. They reconnect, and then it's all about him focusing on his career and also having drama
I like it, and I like the fact that you said that you want to view the black man in a positive way. That is a plus. A plus. I like the way the story is going. Yes, guys, I have read this story. I'm waiting to read book 2, and is there going to be a book 3?
Yeah, so I'm typing the finale as we, I was typing the finale as we speak, but yes, that should be coming out hopefully next month.
Ooh, that's so exciting. Now, what actually made you want to, write this particular story? Come up with the title and the characters. Where'd that inspiration come from?
So the Success of the Wrong Queen, that came from a dream that I had. It's so random. It's so funny how it happened. I had a dream that my mom was invited to a marathon, and the guy said, you came, he was so happy that she came.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a random dream, I know. But then from that, basically, I was inspired to write that. So a successful guy, because in the story he does a marathon, and I implemented that in. And then the main character, Trey, the one that I portray in a positive way, have a close friend, I did, in school. And when I was writing, I was thinking, I love the bond that he had with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd go to his mom, she'd give him the best advice. She'd know how to put him in his place, but also not belittle him, but make him see the right way that he should. So that's how I was inspired from Trey's character, because I love the bond that he has with his mom.
That's something different, because I've heard maybe once or twice an author say that they have written a book, from a dream. So to get another author, to write another book like that, that's some creativity for you to remember that dream as well. And it's so good that you want to turn it into a story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, a question that I have for you is, what would you say is the most interesting part of your writing career? The books that you write particularly. What is the most interesting thing about that?
The most interesting? I think just imagining it and just writing it down, if that's what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Picturing it and just getting lost, because I could just type for ages, and then my sisters speak to me oh shoot, it's the real world. I get lost in my mind.
That's pure creativity, because I'm like that too. If I can't imagine my story, I can't write it. If I can't see it, I can't write it. Yeah, the same way. Now, how did you get this book published? Do you have a publisher, or are you an independent indie author?
Yeah, I'm an indie author.
Ooh, what made you go that route?
To be honest, I had no clue how to publish a book. I had to teach myself, and I didn't really know that there was publishers out there. So I guess I just taught myself how to do everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, was that hard for you? Not coming into this industry, really not really knowing, have to learn as you go?
Yeah, definitely. I made so many mistakes, and the first books that I published, first few, because I printed a bulk of books of Success of the Wrong Queen the first time I published it, and there was so many mistakes. There's so many things that I've learned. So for every book that I publish now, I know exactly what I need to look for. Take my time, do not rush anything. So yeah, so I've learned quite a lot.
And this Success with the Wrong Queen, that is your first novel published?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that would be rough, to do that with the first book. But it did very, very well. So I know you're very proud of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, in the future, where do you see yourself writing next? What other stories do you think you may have in mind after this series?
In all honesty, because I've been writing since I was really young. As I speak, next to me, by the sofa, I've got a big bulk of stories that I've written in the past, but I haven't published them. So there's quite a lot. But the next book I'm looking to finish, because I started, I haven't finished it yet. It follows a journey of like a single dad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one that I'm looking to publish as soon as I finish the finale. And then I've got some, I've even got a horror that I've written that I think I might go back in the future, see if I can like turn that into a film.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. I like that. That's like the next step. Out of all those stories you have written that you haven't published yet, which one, you don't have to give us any titles or anything like that if you don't want to, but what do you say would be like your favorite book that you've written so far that had you like so engaged that you know you want to keep having the urge to write it?
To be honest, the series that we're talking about now, like each book, like the first one was like just over 100 pages. The second part 2 was like over just 160 pages, and this one I feel like it's going to be like 200 pages. So you can see like the growth that I've made as an author. And as I'm writing it, I'm coming with more ideas. I'm like, no, because I've seen people say 4-part stories. If it's more than 3, they don't really want to read it. So I'm like, I'm having to like put it all into the final one because, to be honest, I could still keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, your book can be as long as you want it because it is people like, I am a reader too, as well as an author, and I love long books. I really do. Like 300-page books or more, it feels like the book just has so much to give, you know, minus a short story, few pages, so I don't want to say it may be rushed or anything like that, but you know it's going to be fast-paced. But with a book that has so many pages, you have so much that you can imagine and get into. So I like that you started off with a 100-page book, and then you going up and up. That I really like that. That's a series, like I said, that I can't wait to finish because I love books like that. Keeps me engaged.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Now, for this book, okay, since you are a author and a reader, what do you think? As the reader side, what do you think makes a great story?
Dice is on the beat.
I guess drama and really good characters, like characters that are relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I totally agree because drama, that is the big part of my books. That is like the big part of when I pick up a book. I hope that it has drama, maybe a little action, of course a little romance or whatnot, but drama, that's what keeps you really focusing in it, like what you did with your first book. I was like, oh, can I get to the next page already, because I want to know what's going to happen next, That's what makes a story what a story is. Now, for your characters, for their names, for their personalities and everything like that, how long did it take you to, come up with their names, sort of say? Because I know you said you had a dream, but like, how long did it take you to, develop before, you really came up with the next plot of the story, to extend it and all?
To be honest, once I thought of it, everything came to me quite quickly. Like the name, apart from China's name, it wasn't originally China, it was Renee. But I have a friend that has that name, so I thought, in case you read it, I don't want to think anything about it, because Renee just suited her. But then I thought, actually, I quite like China as well, so luckily I swapped that. But the only thing that I found really long to come up with was the title. Because originally I was going to call it a business plan, but then I thought it's a nice title, but it's not like catchy. And it took me forever until the book was finished. So I'm like, come on, I need a title, please. And I was just thinking about it for ages, and then it just came to me, so.
Yeah, I like that, the fact that, you develop your characters, you develop the storyline, the plot, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then when it comes down to it, now you're stuck on your title. Like, what is going to grab your readers and new people to your book? Because the first thing they're going to see is the cover and the title. And when you sent me your book, I was like, oh, this definitely grabbed me, because like I said, it was different, a different title that I had never seen before, and the fact that it was art, because I love art too, so it was art on the cover. Yeah, so that's what really, really caught my eye. Now, as you being in the industry for not that long, how do you feel about it? How did you adjust, sort to say?
Well, joining like some of the reading groups where like people promote and that, like it's good to see like when they have the little discussions of like what readers like, what they don't like, or just authors ranting, and you're like, oh, I'm not in this alone. Like those type of things are like.
Yeah, that's what really helps, because for me, same thing. My tip is, when you do come into this and research, that's a big thing. You publishing your book yourself, you really didn't have to deal with a publisher at all. So you're just dealing with yourself. You're your company. You're the one who's distributing your books and getting everything done, and going to the editors yourself. So you're learning everything. Some other authors, they go to the publisher because they don't want to do all that, so they necessarily don't do their research on it. So that's the thing that I really love telling new authors, like such as you, like, as you go on, like you said, you're learning more and you're adjusting more, and that's great. And then going into reading groups, that's a plus, because like you said, you can get into discussions and all this other stuff, and you're meeting more and more authors that will give you their tips and the great things that they can give to another author. So that's great. Now, what I'm following up with that is, what tip would you give to a new author coming into the industry?
Okay, I would say that it's really important to get a proofreader or editor. Like we know exactly, as authors, we know exactly what we want it to say, but it's very easy to like overlook mistakes. So I would say get someone else to have a look for you. And another thing I'd say is, do not rush. So take your time, because when you rush, mistakes are made. So the most important thing I'd say is try not to make any mistakes. I know that sounds so silly, and I know it's probably impossible, but take your time, get it proofread, because mistakes can put people off very easily.
Very true. That is very, very good advice, because when I first started, I did the opposite. I didn't rush. The thing was, I didn't rush the books. I just wrote. Added the punctuation and everything. I just wrote. I didn't proofread my own story, because, I read as I went along. And that was a big mistake that I made. And my publisher said, oh, no, you can't do that. She was like, no, you have to go back and read your story, see how it flows and everything. It may flow when you wrote it, but as you have to look at it as a viewing point as a reader. And when I did that, it clicked in. I said, I cannot do that anymore. Like, it's not going to work. Now, have you ever gotten writer's block before?
To be honest, not really. It might be because I'm still, new to writing. But even when I was younger, I've never had writer's block. And I hope maybe not to never have it. Yeah. So it's not something I've dealt with personally. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had writer's block more than I can count. It's because my imagination is so crazy, that I want to keep writing story after story after story, and then when I get to that story that I love so much, I'll get stuck. And I'll be like, why did I do that to myself? It's because I write way too much. I'm the type of writer that will write 3 stories at once.
But that shows how much you love it and how creative you are if you can come up with so many at a time.
Yeah. And then when I got the writer's block, I said, okay, that's my brain telling me that I need a break. And, I need to talk it out with somebody, just voice out what I'm trying to write. And once I did that, it was all gone. I go back to writing. So.
Yeah, that's one thing though. It's really good to speak to someone about your story, because it can make sense to you. But someone else's input could be like, hey, that timing don't make sense, or what if they did that instead? Just like the ending of the finale. Like, I had an idea, and then I wrote it to my sister, the ending, and she was like, you can do so much better than that.
Yeah, that is very true, because I have a friend of mine that I go to her and I'd be like, well, let me read this to you, or let's just go on a Google Doc together and you read over it and you tell me. She'll be like, Shy, you did this, this, and this. It sounds so good, but the way you put it together is just, your mind was trying to type it out and it just doesn't sound right. So like reword it or do this or do that. And that works. Some authors really do need that because it'll make the book so much better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think in the future you will write maybe a different genre? Maybe pursue that?
Yeah, because I do have the horror that I want to publish. Yeah, so definitely I am looking into it. Just I want to finish one at a time. Because I'm just like you, like have so many ideas, but I just need to finish one because I'm like a headless chicken if I don't have organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like that too. Like, okay, speaking of that, do you write a outline for your books?
I just write. Not really, no. The only thing I can say is with the second and the third one, whenever I had ideas, I'd write them on a notepad next to it, so I didn't forget the idea as I was writing.
Mm-hmm. I do that as well. Because I've tried writing a outline once before and didn't work out. Like, I didn't follow my outline at all. Maybe the first 1 or 2 chapters followed my outline. Then after that, I'm 20 chapters in. That outline has just been ghosted. I'm just writing from my brain out because it's like as soon as you get into the story, it flows much better.
Definitely, yeah.
Now, for you, what do you think is more rough? Writing a description for your book or creating the title?
The description, like what people read at the back of the book or what you show on Kindle. That's so hard.
Now, why is it hard for you? I love asking the authors this question because I've heard so many say that, they can't get into it or something of that nature. What is it for you that it's hard for you?
Like sometimes when I try to write them, I'd make it sound like it's a film, like I'm narrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to write it without giving it away and trying to make it sound interesting, and all within a small 1 or 2 paragraphs. It's like that's the part that I find the hardest.
Yeah, because it's just basically you're summing your book up, because that's what's gonna draw in your readers. Like take me for an instant. When I read the back of the book, I'm like, please don't tell me what's going to happen in the book. Because I hate that. You're giving it away in a different sense. Like, you're trying to be mystery about it, but it's not working. You're just straight up just telling me what's going to happen. And then when I get to that part, I'll be like, I'm done with the book. I don't even want to finish it because you gave it away. And I might just put the book down at the store because I already know what's going to happen. Yeah, I want that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because that's the most important. Well, one of the most important things. You gotta try not to give anything away. Make them guess and want to read it.
Yes. Now, on that same note, what do you think by judging a book by its cover?
I do think, to be honest, if I was to look at a book, the cover is more important than the title. Mm-hmm. In my opinion. So a cover is really important.
Yes, it to me it is as well, because you may have an author who has a concept that they love so much, but then they have a title that does not fit that concept. So kind of the cover is misleading a little bit. It's kind of off from the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what kind of gets me a little bit. I'll look at the cover and then I read the title, I'm like, oh, it doesn't really go together, so what am I supposed to do now? I'm just going to put the book down. I'm sorry. I do judge a book by its cover. It's true. It's very true. Now, how did you handle... Now, this is a question that I love asking new time authors, how did you deal with, reading your reviews? If you did get a negative review, how did you handle that?
See, because I want to be the best author that I can be, I don't see a bad review as as an attack. I see it as a way of how I can improve, because I'm not perfect. I've just started, so I'll take as much advice as I can. Mm-hmm. So whenever I see them, I haven't got that many, but whenever I see them, I say, okay, what didn't she like? Okay, she said maybe it's a bit, maybe she said there's a bit too many mistakes. But one thing I've noticed, when I first published it, a few readers, lovely, they did mention that the stance was a bit different, and so then what I had to do is, because I'll say, I'm not from the UK, but I'll say my market is 90%, while the sales are from the US, around 90% of them. Mm-hmm. So we spell words differently. For example, organize is spelled with an S, and the US people spell it as with a Z. So I had to put it at the beginning of the book, just to highlight that I am a British author. So we spell a bit differently. So whatever they do, if they do mention anything, I look at it and see how can I improve, or what can I do to avoid it happening to anyone else, or them thinking that way. Mm-hmm. So I just see it as a way of improving, and I work on it.
That is something, because I did notice that when you said that in the book, and I was like, okay. But when I was reading it, I was like, this is just as normal as any other book. I really didn't tell from, from where you're from, and then writing it in, for me, because I'm from the US, so me reading it, I was like, I couldn't really tell. I was like, this is still very well written.
Thank you.
Still very well written. So I was like, great job. And then plus you have editors who will catch little small things too, but it wasn't bad at all. I love the story.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very much welcome. Now, my question to any of the books that you have written, what do you put a lot of emotion into your books as well?
Yeah, so I'll try to, when I'm writing, I try to forget that it's me, and then I'll just get into that space of the character. So, for example, if she's angry, then I'm angry, and sometimes I'll be typing a bit too hard, or I'll be writing a bit too hard on the paper. I just get into, the emotions.
Yeah, me too. Have you ever cried at any other chapters you have written, or a character you created? Did it make you that emotional, and that really helped with the chapter of some sort?
I've never cried because I haven't written anything that sad yet, but I do definitely feel the emotions that I'm trying to describe, or that I'm writing down. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Yeah, I have felt a lot of emotions of all the books that I have written. And it's crazy because I'm the type of writer where, when I've written a book for so long, and, I go on my little break after it, and then, if it's a series, I pick up for the next book, and it's just I feel so excited to, get to back writing, because, I love doing it. It's when I stop writing, it's in my head, I'm I gotta write. I gotta open a computer and write, or pull out my iPad and write, or a pen and a paper. I have to write something, because it makes me feel empty, if I'm not writing, because this is my passion and I love it so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that from you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's the only difficult thing with me writing. That's why I say I write so many books at once, because it's when I stop, it's the void is just there, and I'm oh no, I can't do this. I have to write. I just have to write something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So my thing is, if I'm not writing a story and I'm taking a break, I'll just write some poetry, just to help out just a little bit. Just a little bit, until I'm getting back into a full 40K novel, more than that. And I never get bored with it at all. Never get bored.
Yeah.
Now, what's the biggest passion for you when you're writing your story? Like, how does it really, really make you feel? You know, since you've been writing for so long, such as I do.
I just really love it. Like, I just drift away once I'm writing, or as soon as I get up, or even when I'm in bed, I'll be like, I'll be thinking of the storyline. I could do that. Then I'm in bed. I'm like, get up now. You need to start writing. Then I run downstairs, shower out everything that I need to do, and I start writing. And I don't stop until, like, for example, my hand hurts because I like to write my pen and paper, and or like I've went through so many pens last week alone that I need to buy like a new pack because I've run out of pens. But just as soon as I can write, I'll write, and I just don't stop until my hands hurt, the pen runs out, or I need to eat.
Same here. Yeah. Like, it never fails a day where I'm up, like you just said, like I may be just like relaxing or laying down, and I have to write anything. Now, the only break I get, to be honest, is my snack time, which is my favorite tea, my favorite snacks, and Netflix. That is, I call my break. If I'm not having that break, I'm writing, or I'm working on other stuff, because I'm such a busybody. Now, what kind of research do you do for, you know, different things you might put in your book that you wouldn't really too much know about, that you would have to research?
Well, when I was younger, I used to write a lot about, like, pregnancy. So I had to, like, research exactly, like, weeks, how many, like, I know there's, like, 3 trimesters, like, how many is, like, when do you first start showing, when do you find out the gender of the baby, just stuff like that, things that I don't actually know, so I need to go to Google to find out. Yeah,
same. When I was a teenager writing, I had to look up that same stuff, because I'm like, I don't want to ask. Who am I going to ask this stuff? Because, you know, I wasn't in any reading groups or anything like that. I got published when I was 20. So, yeah, so as a teenager writing on an app or whatever, I just look it up myself and, you know, just do it all myself to develop my writing.
Or sometimes I ask my mom, like, Mom, you had me. And then I just ask her questions. And then she'll have to answer. If she doesn't know, she'll be like, Google it.
Yeah. I asked my mom so many questions. She'd be like, now, what? I'll just come around the corner. She'd be like, what are you writing about now? What can I help you with? Yeah, so what do you think is the most difficult part of writing, if there is anything to that with you?
I'm going to say writing the bit. That's the most difficult. I'm like writing. And everything else seems to be okay at the moment. So yeah, just writing the back bit.
Now, are you a part-time writer or a full-time?
I'm currently full-time. Definitely I've saved up so I can live for a while. Then I just want to focus on writing these 2 books mainly. The finish the finale, and then write the one about the dad. And then once after that, see how I feel, because see if I want to go back to working, or see if I can. I don't know, like, I've taken a break just to finish those 2 books, and then I'll see how it goes next.
Yeah, same here. I took my break, and once that break was over, my publisher was on me like, you know, I know you have a lot of stories that you have been, you know, hiding from us, that you've been working on, so, you know, what's up with that? So my whole plan is just like you said. Took my break, worked on my books, now I'm gonna put those out.
Yeah,
no questions asked.
Yeah, I'd work full time, and then I'd have like 2 hours to come home, eat, shower before I have to go to bed, and then have to try write as much as I can, that little bit of time. But to run is writing's my passion, so I thought I'd save as much as I can, finish writing these 2 books, and then at least I can be satisfied. Then if I need to go back to work, then I'll do that.
Yep, very true. Now, what does literary success look to you?
I want my books to be in bookstores in the UK and in the US, and I want to start I want to sell my books in like most of like the US book events.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen a few that I'm interested in, but eventually I'd like to go down there and do it.
That's a very good idea, because I'll be doing that as well soon.
Ooh,
Yes, I really push myself to, get my books in a good standing, get as many books in a good time frame, to be able to do it. And that's a very good marketing choice too, because you get to meet the authors that you've seen on social media, that you've talked to and everything, and you get to see how they network, and you can learn off them and get pointers. And then the plus side, you get to meet your readers, you get to sign books, and great experience. Now, for you, what is the best way that you market your books?
I'll say on my Instagram, and I have friends and family that sometimes post it for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not in the readers groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just post it around.
Yeah. What I do is, of course, for authors, I do this podcast show, because you get to broadly speak about your book and about yourself as an author. Doing the Facebook groups and everything, that's very good too, especially the really active ones, because you'll get a lot of eyes on the book, and you'll be like, okay, let me click on it and see what this is about. Then you have, like you said, of course, Instagram. I use any platform I can: Tumblr, Snapchat, Google Plus, anything that can get more people that's not on maybe Facebook or Instagram, that's on those platforms, that will see it. And then and then do as many tags as you can. Promote, if you can promote your book all day without getting blocked, hopefully, because without getting blocked, then you'll be good, because people will see that you're sharing your work, and you're showing that this is a good read. I want you guys to read it. Me as an author, I don't care about the money at all. I just care about new people and my readers reading my work. That's it.
And hearing what they think about it.
Yeah, so now I asked this question. This is my final question, and I ask this to every author that comes on the show. The urban writing industry is something in itself. It's a lot of Black excellence and such. But then you have the negative side of the writing urban industry. And I want to know your opinion. If you've seen that, you don't have to say any names or nothing like that. I just want to know your opinion on it, from the positive side and then the negative side to it. Because, you have new authors who need to know this stuff as well. Because,
I don't really have, any negatives.
Mm-hmm.
I like how everyone, promotes their work, how they support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see, authors post, that support each other, post your link, and then they buy it, and then they share their link, and then they support each other. I like that type of stuff. It seems like the urban... One thing I noticed as well is, the urban industry is actually quite big. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. So you've got to make sure that, you're different. And,
yeah.
Well, I don't like any negatives, apart from there's, so much competition, maybe.
Yeah, that's very good to hear. I ask this question to every author that comes on, because, each author goes through something different. And, each author is different in themselves, and they're different writers, so they experience different things. And I love for them to talk about certain things on the show, because that will give the readers an insight, and then new authors and even veteran authors the insight on certain things that they may have not known about, that they may not even know about you, but now they do. And that'll get you a click on your